Welcome to English 9, determining the relevance and truthfulness of the ideas presented in the material viewed, Part 2. I am Mr. Nelson Sambalot and I'm your teacher for this course. Look at the image. You have there a text and a magnifying glass. Why magnifying glass? Because it reminds you that you have to be particular on the details that you are viewing on a material that you are reading. Because by doing so, you are trying your very best to determine the relevance and truthfulness of the ideas presented in the said material. That's why this image perfectly reminds you that you have to be particular on details in the material that you are viewing. For the most essential learning competency for this lesson, we have determine the relevance and truthfulness of the ideas in the material viewed. For the enabling competencies, we have interpreting the message conveyed in the materials viewed and analyzing the information contained in the material viewed. In our previous discussion, you learned about the PIP macro scale viewing, as well as its importance in different stages, whether the text is a piece of writing, an advertisement, a painting, a performance, or a film, it can convey information. Viewing is not only observed through the use of the videos or slide shares, it could also be achieved through a photo gallery. Photos convey stories to which we can connect to what they are trying to impart to us. For now, let us recall the three stages of viewing. So in our previous discussion, I was able to mention to you an experience of being in an art gallery looking at the image of Mona Lisa. So for you to be able to understand well the painting, be it the image of Mona Lisa or an abstract painting, you have to pay attention to the details and of course activate your knowledge about what you knew about the painting that you are viewing. So let's now have a review on what are the three stages of viewing. Let us have the three stages of viewing. Stage 1, pre-viewing. In this stage, you activate your prior knowledge about the topic or theme called schema. You do this by anticipating a message, predicting, speculating, or making guesses, asking questions, and setting a purpose for viewing. The stage 2, during viewing. This is the stage where you actually view the material to understand the message through making connections, confirming predictions and inferences you had in the previous stage, interpreting and summarizing, pausing and reviewing, and analyzing and evaluating. The stage 3, after viewing. In this stage, you are given opportunities to respond personally, critically, and creatively to the visual text or material. You do this by making reflections, analyzing after processing what you viewed, evaluating, and creating. So those are the three stages of viewing. Learning Task 1. Our country, Philippines, is rich in various cultures and mesmerizing destinations. Filipinos are even known for our trades and physiognomies. Ask a grade 9 student, how well do you know our country? Read the lyrics from the advertisement of Department of Tourism, Choose Philippines. You may also access the video online at a given link. Then write at least 5 information about our country. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. It's more fun in the Philippines. Kating-kati na ba ang iyong mga paa? Handa nang umalis, magliwaliw at lumarga? Buti na lang taga dito ka. Sing dami ng happening, ang dami ng isla. It's more fun in the Philippines. More fun in the Philippines. Bakit pa lalayo? Sobrang swerte kaya ng tsinelas mo, nakatapak ka sa paraiso. It's more fun in the Philippines. More fun in the Philippines. Bakit pa lalayo? Mula Batanes hanggang Hulo, iba ang saya ng Pilipino. It's more fun in the Philippines. Nandito ng lahat, saan pa pupunta, malalim ang dagat at mababaw ang ligaya. Halatang-halatang Pilipino ka. Abot langit ang iyong ngiti, lahi ng masasaya. It's more fun in the Philippines. More fun in the Philippines, bakit pa lalayo? Sobrang swerte kaya ng tsinelas mo, nakatapak ka sa paraiso. It's more fun in the Philippines. More fun in the Philippines. Bakit pa lalayo? Mula Batanes hanggang Hulo, iba ang saya ng Pilipino. It's more fun in the Philippines. Sing dami ng happening, ang dami ng isla. It's more fun in the Philippines. More fun in the Philippines. Bakit pa lalayo? Sobrang swerte kaya ng tsinelas mo, nakatapak ka sa paraiso. It's more fun in the Philippines. More fun in the Philippines. Bakit pa lalayo? Mula Batanes hanggang Hulo, iba ang saya ng Pilipino. It's more fun in the Philippines. Let us have the answers for learning task 1. Write 5 information about the Philippines. First, it is more fun in the Philippines, as said in the title of the song. Second, we have we have what? The Philippines has so many happenings like festivities. Third, third, the Philippines is like paradise because of its tourist spots, beautiful tourist destinations. Next, it can be what? The Philippines. The Philippines offers a lot of fun from Batanes down to Hulo. And another possible answer, the Philippines has people who are fun-loving, who are joyful, and who are always happy. Okay, so those are the possible answers for learning task 1. Learning task 2. Analyze and arrange the pictures carefully and create a story out of them. Write your answer on your pad paper. So we have here 5 images coming from Romeo and Juliet. So you know that Romeo and Juliet is one of the literary texts that you must know in English 9. You know it very well that Romeo fell in love with Juliet when he saw her in a party. And after seeing her the first time, he fell in love with Juliet. That's why he decided to see her again. And the challenge there is that their family were in a feud. But that didn't stop the love story of Romeo and Juliet. They actually ended up as a couple. But unfortunately, Romeo killed Juliet's relative that led him to be in exile. And by the time that he was in exile, Juliet's family decided for her to be married with Paris or with a certain character coming from the story. And Juliet Juliet didn't like the idea, so she asked for help from the priest, and the priest gave her a potion that will make her sleep for a couple of hours. And during the wedding day, they thought that Juliet was dead, so they buried her. And by the time Romeo was in a hurry going back to their place, and before going back, he bought a poison. Then, when he reached the tomb of Juliet, he had first a fight with Juliet's supposed to be husband, and after it, then he approached Juliet's body. Knowing that Juliet was dead, he drank the poison and died instantly. After a while, Juliet woke up and she noticed that Romeo was dead already in her side, so she decided also to kill herself. That's why it's the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. So the moral lesson: do not fall in love in a very young age. At a very young age, do not make hasty decisions in life, and of course listen to older people. Okay, so that's the story of Romeo and Juliet. Now the task is to arrange the images. So for us to arrange the images quickly, let's check on the details of each. So the first image, you have here Romeo talking to Juliet, who's in the veranda, in the terrace. Second image, you have there Juliet making an effort for Romeo to be able to be on the terrace. The third image, you have there Juliet thinking about Romeo and Romeo thinking about Juliet. And you have here what? Juliet, Romeo calling the attention of Juliet, who is on the terrace. And the fourth image, you have here Romeo extending his best, doing his best to be on the terrace. And the last image, you have here Romeo and Juliet standing in front of each other. Okay? Standing next to each other. So it should be the first image. So we're going to have this one, the third image, wherein we have Juliet thinking about Romeo and Romeo thinking about Juliet after meeting her in the party. And Romeo decided to meet Juliet, to visit Juliet. And you have here Romeo calling the attention of Juliet. And the third picture would be this one, where Juliet helped Romeo to climb or to be on the terrace. Then the fourth image would be this one, wherein Romeo's able to climb or exerted effort to climb so that he can be with Juliet. And the last image we have here, Romeo and Juliet standing next to each other. So this is the love story of Romeo and Juliet, or we have here the secret meeting of Romeo and Juliet. So that would be for learning task 2. Before we deal on learning task 3, the question is, how were you able to arrange the images accordingly in the previous activity? How did you do it? Of course, you activated your knowledge on what's what are the stages or steps in a courting situation, because you have the Romeo and Juliet's secret meeting, or as if courting stages. So you're able to arrange the images instantly because of the connection you have with the idea presented or ideas presented in the images. So meaning to say, the images have relevance on you. Okay, so let's have learning task 3. Study and evaluate the poster. Will you join the conference? Why or why not? Write your answer on your pad paper. So we have here the poster to inspire youth making a difference conference. And we have there the details. Now the question is, will you join the conference? So what will be your answer? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Why are you going to join it? Because you know that at your age, that conference is what? Is for you, because that poster has relevance. The ideas in the poster have relevance on you, because you know that as a youth, you are being what? Invited in that conference for you to what? For you to make a difference. Okay? So that's the answer for learning task 3. Learning task 4. Read the text carefully and answer the questions that follow. Write your answer on your pad paper. Selection 1. Every morning I lay on the floor in the front parlor watching her door. The blind was pulled down to within an inch of the sash so that I could not be seen. When she came out on the doorstep, my heart leapt. I ran to the hall, seized my books, and followed her. I kept her brown figure always in my eye, and when she came near the point at which our ways diverged, I quickened my pace and passed her. This happened morning after morning. I had never spoken to her except for a few casual words, and yet her name was like a summons to all my foolish blood. Excerpt from Araby by James Joyce. So let's have the questions. Number 1. What does the text tell us about the character's feeling towards the girl? The text tells us that the character has strong feelings or affection towards the girl. Number 2, what can you conclude about the main character? The main character is madly in love with the girl? Number three, how does the character react when she sees the girl every morning? He's very, very happy, at the same time nervous, and he gets so excited every morning whenever he sees the girl. Number four, in your opinion, what will happen if the boy sees the girl with another one? He will be eaten by jealousy. Okay? So, in your opinion, what will happen if the boy sees the girl with another one, with another boy? The boy will get jealous of that situation. Okay? So again, the question is, what made you or what made us able to answer the questions easily aside from reading the text? Again, the text has something to do with you because as a teenager, most probably you have experienced the same situation with the boy. So the text has the relevance, the so-called relevance in it. So our milk is what? Determining relevance and truthfulness of ideas presented in a text. So since you have close association with the ideas presented in the text, then you're able to determine that the text has relevance on you. Okay? So let's continue. Selection 2. For conversation, press number 1 by Michael Albier. A funny thing happened in the way to communications revolution. We stopped talking to one another. I was walking in the park with a friend recently and his cell phone rang, interrupting our conversation. There we were, walking and talking on a beautiful sunny day, and poof, I became invisible, absent from the conversation because of a gadget designed to make communication easier. The park was filled with people talking on their cell phones. They were passing other people without looking at them, saying hello, noticing their babies, or stopping to pet their puppies. Evidently, the untethered electronic voice is preferable to human contact. The telephone used to connect you to the absent, now it makes people sitting next to you feel absent. Why is it that the more connected we get, the more disconnected I feel? Every advance in communications technology is a setback to the intimacy of human interaction. With email and instant messaging over the internet, we can now communicate without seeing or talking to one another. In making deposits at the bank, you can just insert your card into the ATM. With voicemail, you can contact entire conversations without ever reaching anyone. If my mom has a question, I just leave the answer on her machine as almost every conceivable contact between human beings gets automated. The alienation index goes up. I am too Luddite. I own a cell phone, an ATM card, a voicemail system, and an email account. Giving them up isn't an option. They're great for what they're intended to do. It's their unintended consequences that make me cringe. So I put myself on technology restriction. No instant messaging with people who live near me. No cell phoning in the presence of friends. No letting the voicemail pick up when I'm home. Reader's Digest, pages 143 145, July 2000. Let's have the questions. Questions about conversation, press 1. So the first question, what is your understanding on this passage? Why is it that the more connected we get, the more disconnected I feel? With the advent of technology, that is the situation. That even though the people are just near us, then we tend not to talk to them because we make ourselves busy on the different application that we have in the cell phone or gadget that we possess. So the more we advance in technology, the more we become disconnected to the people around us. So we feel disconnected to our fellow human beings. Number two, why do you think the author came up with this kind of article? The author came up with that article so that the people will be reminded about the importance of communicating to one another and to know how to discipline themselves on when to use gadgets, when to use cell phones, and of course, the importance of talking and making the people around them feel that they are people, that they are special, that they are loved by the simple words that can be uttered to them through simple conversations. Okay? Number three, upon reading the article, do you agree with the author's opinion? Why or why not? Yes, I agree with the author's opinion that there's really a need to discipline ourselves on when to use gadgets, on giving attention to the people around us by giving our time on talking to them. Okay, so I agree with the author's opinion about the advancement of technology and what disadvantages it brings us, especially on being connected with the people around us. Okay? So done with the questions dealing with for conversation, press 1. Learning task 5. Create a photo essay of your journey as a junior high school student. Place your output on a short bond paper. So what is a photographic essay? A essay is a form of visual storytelling, a way to present a narrative through a series of images. A great photo essay is powerful, able to evoke emotion and understanding without using words. A photo essay delivers a story using a series of photographs and brings the viewer along your narrative journey. So as you create this photo essay of yours, be reminded of the activity that we had about Romeo and Juliet story, love story, the 5 images. So the thing there is you have to choose 5 images, you have to draw 5 images, at least 5 will do, and see to it that the sequence of the images are in accordance to which happened first down to last. And of course, there should be a relationship among the images depending on what story you are presenting through them. Okay? So again, your photo essay delivers a story using a series of photographs and brings the viewer along your narrative journey. So even without a narrative, your photo essay or the pictures themselves can already tell a story. Just like in the activity Romeo and Juliet, we know that the images talk about love story or the secret meeting of Romeo and Juliet. So the perfect title for it would be The Secret Meeting of Romeo and Juliet. Okay? Or the courting between Romeo and Juliet. Okay. So again, you just check your Google Classroom for this activity. Photo essay rubric. So what are you going to have in mind? Of course, the visual effect. All photos are related to theme, captivating and unique. Second, the technicalities. Title and captions of the photos are connected to the topic consistently. Third, creativity. The photo essay exhibits strong evidence of creativity and originality. And the last criterion, the theme. Theme is well developed all throughout the photo. So that's the thing that I mentioned earlier, that the photos should be interrelated with one another. And of course, you apply their creativity, then the technicalities for the captions in each photo, and of course, the title for all of the photos. Na? So you should be able to come up with a good title that will best represent all of the images that you have in your photo essay. And of course, the visual effect. If it's a drawing, see to it that the visual effect is really captivating. If images, if photos, then select the best photos. Okay? So again, please be guided of the photo essay rubric. Let's have a quick review of what you have learned so far. We have the viewing. Viewing can be a piece of writing, performance, film, painting or photos, or advertisement. Viewing is an important skill which you can apply in several instances with various purpose in mind, example, leisure, academics. As a student, familiarizing with the stages and applying them help you make the most out of your viewing experience. It also helps you develop your higher order thinking skills. Okay? And again, the 3 stages of viewing are the following: previewing, activating your schema, making predictions and inferences related to the theme or topic. While viewing, trying to understand the message by establishing connections, analyzing and confirming your predictions and references. And the post viewing, responding personally, critically, and creatively, making reflections, evaluating, and creating something relevant to the material. And of course, on how to determine relevance of ideas in the material viewed, of course, you must always activate your knowledge on how is the material closely connected on you, or how is it relevant on you. So how will you do it? You activate prior knowledge schema, or what you knew on the ideas presented on the material. And if you can really connect to the material that you are viewing, then you have there the so-called relevance. Okay? Let's proceed. Learning task 6. Read each statement carefully. Write T if the statement is correct and F if wrong. Number 1. Viewing is one of the macro skills which refers to perceiving, examining, interpreting, and constructing meaning from visual images. The answer is true. Number 2. Critical thinking is not developed during viewing activity. It's false. 3. Post viewing gives you an opportunity to activate your prior knowledge. It's false because it should be previewing. Number 4. Viewing helps one acquire information and ideas. Of course, true. Number 5, a piece of writing, an advertisement, a painting, a performance, or a film can be used in viewing activity. It's true again. Okay, done with learning task 6. Reflection. Directions. Reflect on what you learned on this lesson about viewing by completing the statements below. Number 1, the most important thing I learned in this lesson is the definition of viewing, the three stages of viewing, and of course, how to determine relevance of ideas in material viewed. Number 2, it made me realize that I can apply what I learned when viewing a material. And of course, determining the relevance of the material viewed. Number 3, I therefore intend to go through with the stages of viewing so that the more I can understand the ideas being presented in the material, also for me to be able to determine the relevance of the material. Okay? So that would be for reflection. Of course, I want to hear your answers as you deal with this activity in the Google Classroom. Thank you. Have a good day and God bless us all.